Hi! Oh my gosh, it's been a while. I am so sorry. I told some of you guys on my community tab that I was gonna do a Q&A and you guys delivered. You guys came in with the questions. I'm so grateful because anytime I post these like Q&A things, I'm always like, does anybody even care? Who am I? The fact that you guys submitted questions, and then not just questions, they were like legitimate good questions. I would love to answer them. I've made you guys wait way too long, so let's just dive into it. First question, we're gonna start off with a sappy one. What is your favorite thing about being a parent? My favorite thing, being woken up at 6 in the morning. Here's the Sunday school answer. My favorite thing about being a parent are the kids. I know, that's so obvious. You know that saying, you can't choose your family? It's true, but I feel like I just got really lucky with these kids. I know every parent's gonna say that, but I really do feel just extremely lucky. My kids are so good and they're super cute. I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying. Every mom's gonna say that, you know? I mean, they are definitely a product of myself and my husband. All the bad traits, all the sass, obviously, but at the same time, they constantly surprise me. Anyways, I can go on and no one's gonna wanna hear a parent brag about their kids. So, next question. Was there ever a moment you thought you messed up as a parent? If so, when and why? Wow, we are gonna go real deep here. Let me count the ways on how many times I've messed up. Parent guilt is real and it's debilitating. Any parent who tells you they got it down pat is a complete straight up liar. Liar. Straight to jail. Do not pass go. Don't collect $200. In fact, pay the taxes as you go to jail. Here's an example. When my son was about 1.5, I turned my eyes away from him as he was coming down the stairs on his bum for like a millisecond, I swear to God. And all I hear is just bam, 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 bam. And I turn around and I see his tiny little body just flying down the stairs. Just boing, boing. Landed flat on his back. Like, it's one of my biggest fears, like falling down the stairs. He wasn't even injured. I mean, he cried, but he wasn't really injured, but I had to hardcore learn to forgive myself for that one. Here's a deep one with my daughter. When she was really little, I used to threaten and scare her into obedience. Kind of like what my mom did to me. Early mom years, I thought I could use fear to control her behavior, but now I can see how it kind of may have contributed to some of her anxiety attachment issues. But she often worries about being bad. And with the opposite of that, we use the term good girl a lot, which I now am realizing that it's not that great. We would use the phrase good girl for everything she would accomplish, and then she would associate with accomplishment as being good. It's like being obedient is equivalent to being good. Accomplishments is equivalent to being good, which is obviously not the case. It took me about 5 years to realize this, that it's not really the greatest phrase to use on young children. I think partly it has something to do with being in the Asian culture, because obedience and compliance without questioning anything, pretty much equivalent to being good. And it's something that I have to unparent myself, because that's how I grew up. Being guai is like being well behaved, being quiet. That was considered a positive trait to have, especially as a girl. I didn't want her thinking that she's not a good person because she, you know, she wasn't compliant or whatever. It's a very complex subject, obeying your parents, especially in the Asian culture. This could be for a very deep conversation. But moving on, I'm gonna combine some of these questions. Does your daughter see your videos and does she actually make fun of you? Why do you let your daughter talk back to you? If I said that, I wouldn't be able to sit for weeks because I'm Chinese, by the way. I love that comment. Yes, she sees my videos. Always ask to watch them every night. You know how the parents read their kids' bedtime stories? She asks to watch my videos before bed. Sometimes she really tries hard to give me content and goes out of her way to roast me. I let her roast me. Not that I let her, I don't punish her for it. It's her way of expressing herself. In fact, I actually love it that she has no filter. As a grown-up, you already have so many filters on, you just know too much. As a kid, this is the time to be able to fully express yourself without any limit. You know, obviously there are some words that you shouldn't say, but for the most part, if she's just expressing herself and she's just calling it as it is, it's actually a fantastic trait to have, and I would never ever want to diminish that. She's only 8. She will learn as she grows up. She will learn what judgment and what consequences there are with certain words, but to me, I'm her mom. She needs to be able to say what she wants to say to me. Also, on top of that, the kids, you know, they really don't know how to sugarcoat things. They just blurt out whatever they hear at school. If it actually hurts me and I'm actually starting to get actually irked, I will tell her to stop. And she does respect it. Okay, let's move on to some content questions. What motivated you to post these videos? How did you gain courage? Well, we all know what went down in 2020, right? Bored in the house and in the house bored. That was me. I started off on TikTok April of 2020. Scroll down for a minute or two or 60. You will see me do dance trends, lip syncs. It's super cringy.
My back is aching, my bra too tight, my booty shaking from the left to the right. My back is aching, I'm so in love, baby. All I know is you got me.
The cake, yeah, yeah. All about cake, yeah, yeah. Can we relate? All about cake.
I shouldn't have asked you guys to do that. Don't do that. Ignore what I just said. Okay? Thank you. Anyway, I was bored. TikTok was just super entertaining. I saw those dance challenges and I was like, why the heck not? Plus, it was a form of exercise at night. Posting it, the only reason why I was okay posting it back then, nobody knew who I was. I can be a completely different person. They have no idea. Nobody in my real life was on that app. To outside viewers, I was a complete stranger. They're a complete stranger to me. So basically, any judgment that I got is kind of just like, you know? You know what I mean? These troll comments, I've gotten some heat on the other apps. Thank God YouTube, you guys are honestly fantastic. I absolutely love this. I love YouTube. I really do. But on the other ones, the comments are sometimes. But I don't really let those comments really get to me. There's been a few that have affected me, but for the most part, I really think that courage is really just be comfortable with who you are. And I'm very fortunate that I found my voice at an older age where I am already comfortable. I already know myself and I'm already comfortable in my own skin. So really, who cares what other people think? You know, you have years of trying to discover and being insecure, and I already worked through all that before I started posting. So I was very lucky that way. Once I started posting, I honestly couldn't care less what other people thought. So I'm just honestly posting it for me. While growing up, did you have other passions? I loved acting. Anytime I was on set, had a script in hand, I absolutely loved it. The only thing is that regular full-time paying jobs are just more steady. And I knew I needed steadiness and reliability in my life because I like that. Plus, not that I'm like fear of like rejection or anything like that, I'm a little lazy. The hustle it takes in that industry is I had a full-time job and I just didn't have time to hustle. So, but I love acting. I just kept it as a hobby until this whole thing is happening. Now I get to write my own stuff and act in my own stuff, and so I'm scratching my acting itch through these videos. Okay, can you believe it? The kids came home and then they spat up on me. So I had to change my shirt. Where were we? How did you find out about YouTube and who inspired you? Honestly, I discovered YouTube like back in the early 2000s. I was watching YouTube consistently. And you know who I watched a lot of? Wong Fu Productions. I was obsessed. I think every Asian, American, Asian, Canadian knew who they were. I just clung on to them because they were really the first people that were doing these like skits and just really being out there and really having their voice heard on screen where everybody can see. And it's not just like your home little videos that you show your friends. It's like for everybody. So they were definitely an inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, that was the next question. Who inspired me? And I really gave this some thought, and I'm gonna take this on the content creation approach. Number one, Wong Fu Productions, again, because they were the first on the scene in terms of YouTube land. Number two, and you guys already kind of know this, Call Me Chris. That woman who watches her stuff and doesn't laugh. And back in 2020, she did the whole little hands thing, and I think everybody was doing the little hands thing, but she really just put it on the map. She wasn't the first person to do little hands, because I think that was Kristen Wiig and SNL, but she really brought it to like the pop culture. Everybody knew Call Me Chris and her tiny hands. And so she was an inspiration to me. Number two, Jeannie Weenie. She doesn't know me yet, but I'm gonna make it my mission to have her notice me. Because I'm such a fan. I'm just so attracted to very carefree, happy-go-lucky, energetic people. Anytime she's on screen, you can honestly feel her energy coming through. Super infectious, hilarious, super sarcastic, which is totally up my alley. And last but not least, and she doesn't know that I'm saying this, Ong Squad. She and I are friends offline, and we text every now and then, and we're part of a larger group of girls that support one another with our videos and content and whatnot. She and I followed each other back in 2020, early 2020s, when we were both nobodies. I mean, I'm still a nobody, but that girl, she's made it. Has her own clothing line, met with the CEO of TikTok, and to see her grow and to see her transform into such a inspirational person to young people and to mothers, because she's a mom of 5. It's just so inspirational. And she does similar content as me. It's definitely my inspiration. And also, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, all 3 ladies that I mentioned are all from Vancouver, Canada. So maybe I should just move to Vancouver. Did you have doubts about starting YouTube? Honestly, yeah, doubts. I had doubts this would go anywhere. I started this YouTube channel about 9 months ago. I was just throwing my old TikToks on there, not thinking much of it. Like you can see from the early ones, I wasn't even captioning properly. I was just like, whatever. And then I discovered schedule function where you can schedule your videos. So I just slapped on like a week's full and just left it and didn't even think to find out after coming back after like a month the amount of subscribers that I have. I cannot stress how grateful I am. Nobody is more surprised than I am. It took me 3 years to get to where I am on TikTok. I'm not even that big on Instagram, and it took me, you know, less than 9 months to get to where I am on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what the secret sauce is. I just am doing me. Yeah, I definitely had doubts, but here I am. Then what's next? Oh, why did you want to start a YouTube channel about your life and your sassy daughter? Because I'm not an expert on anything other than being a mom to that sassy daughter. You know, when people start their content, it's usually like a niche of something. I didn't really have a niche other than just being me. And who I am, I'm a working mom and I'm Asian Canadian. The only thing I have expertise in is me. So I just figured I would just reenact my life, and my life surrounds my crazy, crazy life as a mom. Plus, she says really funny things, and you know, who doesn't want to reenact that? Is YouTube your only job, or do you have another job other than YouTube? Guys, I wish this was my only job. I can't even tell you how much I wish that. I've asked my husband many times, can I quit my 9 to 5? But yes, I have a corporate 9 to 5 job. Like I said earlier, it's something that I needed to do to have a reliable income, to have steady income so that I can support myself as well as my family. And so yeah, this is not my only job, which is a reason why this video came out so late. I'm so sorry. Yeah, because you know, life. I have a boss. Plus, it has benefits and a pension. Okay, last question. Were you born in Hong Kong or Canada? If Hong Kong, how old were you when you came to Canada? And how was it when you first came to Canada? I was born in Canada, Alberta to be specific. But when I was between 1 and 3, I moved to Hong Kong. I went to preschool there. And then I moved back to Canada when I was 3.5-ish. And I landed in Ottawa. And I've moved to Winnipeg for high school, Edmonton for university, Toronto for most of my 20s and 30s, and now I'm back in Ottawa. So I've moved around Canada a lot. I've never lived in Vancouver though. My first language was Cantonese. But I think because I moved here when I was 3, like moved back here when I was 3, transition wasn't that hard. I didn't really have a hard time trying to learn English because I was just, you know, learning how to speak. Even though my first language was Cantonese, I didn't really have a hard time with English. But I did land in a city that was very predominantly white. Definitely experienced all the microaggressions, and I think, to be totally honest and transparent with you guys, growing up I definitely had internal racism. I didn't want to be Chinese. I remember praying to God to give me blonde hair and blue eyes. Didn't understand why I was so different, why my last name was so different. And it wasn't until university when I went to Edmonton, I was culture shocked. In Edmonton, it doesn't even have that many Asians, but in Edmonton, I was culture shocked. Just learning that there were so many people around me with the same colored hair. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I wanted to assimilate to my own people so badly. I was craving that so badly. I joined Chinese Student Association because I was like, I need all the Chinese friends I can have. I just need them all. I just collect them all. That was kind of the start of my journey on relearning my identity and being Chinese and being Asian, and learning the true meaning of being Asian Canadian. Yeah, and that's that. Hopefully you guys like this Q&A. I really tried hard to consolidate all your questions into like all the similar ones. If you guys want more of this, comment down below and ask away all your questions. I'm an open book. Ask anything you guys want. I will definitely try my very best to make a video and answer your questions.